Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Toys, and today we don't have just one toy I'd like to talk about, we have what I'd like to call a grab bag. This is a short spin-off series thingamabob, still working with Maniac4Toys, where it's about toys that I grew up with or find interesting nowadays, but this time it's about multiple toys that just kind of cover a broad genre. I think most of them are actually from the same series, but with one or two other things in there, I thought it would be interesting to share. So what we have for today is from the early 2000s, around 1999, and 2000 itself. So at that time, a lot of animals and a lot of electronics were being made for kids. You could think of things electronically like Pokemon or Tamagotchi, but they're also, or scanners, that's another one, where it's like you have to bring this thing to scan barcodes in the grocery store to collect monsters. Yeah, look it up, it's a thing. And if I ever had my hands on one, I would be happy to do a video on it. Anywho, I just remember commercials for it. Anywho, the one I'd like to talk about today is actually more of an actual toy that you would play with and be able to control, and it looks like an animal, but it's designed to be like a robot, which is kind of interesting because at a later time, pretty much the same thing happened, but they looked more realistic, for lack of a better term, with the fur-real friends and pound puppies, you know, those kinds of things where it's like softer and a little bit easier to understand what kind of animal it is. But for today, you might already be hearing the barking in the background. We have the... Hold on, where's his name? There it is. Okay, so first, we'd like to take a look at PooCHI from Tiger Electronics and Sega Toys. I don't know much about each of these as far as the distribution, or I just know that there were a couple different colors of each of them. There was also a cat version of this, which I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head. I'm not good with research on this kind of stuff as I am with Lego, sorry to say. And I don't have everything covered here in this video either. This guy has been going almost non-stop since I put the batteries in him, which are 3 AAA batteries. And I put him in like a day or two ago. But every once in a while, I'll hear him barking like this. I don't know the exact off button. I just know that there is a button along the top where the speaker comes out, so you could use that as a way of interacting with him. You do have this bone, which has these little chips on either side of it, as a way of interacting with him. Sometimes when he sits idly, he'll do his own thing, like he's sleeping. And then, if I put the bone next to him, you can hear it's like he's licking the bone. You can't actually put it into his mouth, even though his mouth does move. It's not enough space for it, unfortunately. He does have a couple other sounds to him. Occasionally, he sings different songs. But, yeah, not much beyond that. I mean, you have a couple motors in there to rock him back and forth as far as his legs. I think mine's been worn out a bit over time because he doesn't perfectly stand up straight. But usually, by default, he's a little bit wobbly. You can kind of see, like, right there, the resting position is not as great. I do think he's kind of cool. There we go, now we got a song. And yeah, I honestly have no idea why it beeps like that, why it times down like that. I only recently took them out, tried playing with it a bit, but I couldn't really get that far. And I did also try to look up videos or instructions about it, but that's about it as far as this guy, as far as I know. Maybe if you press and hold it, it'll change a couple buttons here and there, but like I said, as far as the basic moving functions, it's all right here. You know, a lot of it goes into the lights and sounds. Also, I forgot... You know, another one I forgot to say that was from this time period? Kirby. No, Furby. That's the one. Furbies were definitely popular with that electronic toy thing in mind. And not only was there PooCHI, and I forget what the cat one was named, which was almost the same size, different colors for each of them. There was also several Happy Meal toys based on them. And when I say several, I mean probably more that I have that I really need. There we go. So, I guess at one point they had a bird, or at least one to make a Happy Meal version of one, and it's a bird. But there's that. We do have a cat one. There's a fish one. And I don't have a dog. I thought I did. But maybe he's either in a different container or just not existing at all. Maybe I just saw pictures of it online. All of these are pretty basic. They're just done as a wind-up toy because it's a Happy Meal toy. You're not going to get too complex with them. And yeah, they do have a screen on them, like the one has the eyes, but I don't think they actually light up that much. So, if I just wind this up a bit, it should be able to fly forward. And I say should be able to because I don't know why it got stuck in place. Maybe I'll try the... No, actually... Oh, wait. There it is. Okay, so the fish one actually does say on it Aquaroid, which I'm not sure if it's even in the same line. And you know, I would think it would have a name closer to the others. There we go. So, yeah, it basically just winds up and goes, and then fidgets like that. Then we have the bird, which, you know, I'm not going to test all of these because they're basically the same thing, different colors. But for some reason, I have 3 cats. But not a real cat. I have a real dog, though. He hasn't really played with this, though, because I'm pretty sure he would hate it. Because he hates just about any electronic stuff that just starts moving on its own. Okay, we're not getting anywhere with that bird. So, let me try this one. Maybe it's not as wound up as the other. There we go. And while that one's winding down, here's a look at the cat. It basically has the arms that can turn up and down, the tail wiggles a little bit, and it has just one wheel. Spins in a circle. I thought dogs were the ones that walk in circles, not cats. And for some reason this one, arm's not moving. Yeah, there goes Scooby. And yeah, seriously. Scooby, do you mind? And with each of these, for the Happy Meal toys, they include a little type of food item, just for the play of it. Kind of like how this one has the bone. The birds have their little pellets or seeds. You have the fish for the cats, and I don't know what the fish actually includes. Again, maybe it's not even in the same series. I'm not good at research. And then last up on our list, again, I'm pretty sure it's not from the same company because this one is labeled as Trendmasters from 2000. It did have its own series of a whole bunch of unusual animals that are all, again, robotic. Not your common cat, bird, fish, dog sort of thing. How about a chameleon? I think it's a chameleon. It might be an iguana. I think it's a chameleon. But this is called the Muy Loco Chameleon. Or iguana. Again, I don't remember what kind of animal it is, but I do remember the packaging saying, Muy Loco! It's supposed to have a fly with it in order to catch it. It does actually have a moving tongue. Unfortunately, I don't have the fly with me, but I do still have the remote because it is a wireless controllable pet. And, you know, RC kind of thing. Unfortunately, this one's not going to work so well. I mean, the dog just never stops. This one is almost ready to stop. I did add batteries to it, and my gosh, does it feel dated with those batteries, because here's the battery that I took out of it, back from, I think, 2007, it says on there, best before 2007, and then here's the one that I put into it, like the labels, that's over 10 years of difference. And luckily, nothing's been corroded in it, but for some reason or another, the motors aren't really running with this thing. I did add a few more batteries to the remote as well, which is kind of where I want to give a frustration. I am not a fan of button cell batteries. They are used in a whole bunch of different things, I get that, but they are frustrating to tell them apart. I cannot tell you which is which, just by looking at them the way I would for any other, alkaline batteries. So the ones in here, another frustration with it, they didn't corrode or anything, But these are labeled as L1154 for the type of battery that it is. That doesn't exist anymore, or at least isn't under that label. From what I've researched online, the closest resemblance would be 357. And it does work. I did add them in successfully to the battery container of the remote. It's just not, it's just weird. The less I use with cell button batteries, the better. The only thing I actually like with that is my copy of Game & Watch for with playing Donkey Kong. That one I know needs it, but you know, this come on. So anyways, when I have this thing turned on, it is supposed to have 5 different buttons on it. The top one being the tongue, where it would open its mouth and lunge a tongue out. And you could use that with the fly, or you could even stick the fly on here because it was magnetic. There's a talk button, dancing button. I can't even read this. Walk forward and walk backward. There's a really tiny print in there that's just coated with paint. It's hard to read it from here, but luckily, yeah. Those are the 5 buttons. Unfortunately, because the motors keep winding up in here, and I don't know exactly what the issue is because I haven't opened it up to find out, it can't move forward and backward, even if I have the remote right next to it. But what it can do, that's with the tongue, it just does that. I don't know if it's going to break anything at some point. But it does still work as far as the sounds for this thing. Now, if only the dog can be quiet for a bit. And theoretically, it would also be dancing back and forth. You know, the legs would move forward and backward. The tail can actually move side to side. And even with my hand over the dog's mouth, I can't get it to stay quiet. I'm going to have to rip the batteries out of this thing. Moving on from there. Again, if I remember it correctly, the eyes are actually supposed to spin back and forth like this while it moves. I don't know if it's with the mouth or with the legs, but it is something that happens. Just wait until the end of the video while I'll throw up the commercial of each of these products, because I can't really demonstrate it that well here. So you can tell this thing has been really worn, and like I said, even though the batteries aren't corroding the thing, it's for some reason not working as it used to. And I guess we're back at the beginning as far as the dancing button prompts. If I remember correctly, back in the day when this was working, I was not really a fan of this thing. As a kid, I thought it was a little unusual, or maybe a little too sudden for how the tongue would actually just lunge out of here and then, you know, climb right back in. Wasn't really something I played with that often from what I remember. Now I'm thinking of another kind of robot that used to be around, but that was like in the mid-2000s, I think. It was like a Raptor or something that you could also do with a remote control, which I'll probably have a picture here. And yeah, it's a trend. It's a thing. It's a thing that continues for quite a while.
Romance is in the air, as well as a few flies. Delicious. Mi vida loca. Woo-hoo-hoo.
And with that being said, I believe we've gone through all of the the audio prompts that are on here, because like I said, anything else, can't really get it to move. So that's a bummer. A real bummer. I thought it was close to working, and then I found out, oh, it's really not going to turn or walk back and forth. Meanwhile, this one stays in one spot. One underuses the batteries. One hyped up on the batteries. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take batteries out of all these things, but I still thought that would be interesting to share with you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you've had any kind of pets like these. Not really pets, but toy pets. When you were growing up, or if they're still around today. I'm sure there's something like it today. I don't know what the equivalent would be, but I did list a couple examples in there, like Furby, or, I don't know if it was called the Roboraptor, but that's what I'm thinking. Robo-Sapien, I think, was, it was in the same company, but it wasn't a raptor. And the one that I had for a raptor, I think, was, a miniature. It wasn't the full-blown thing. And I don't even know what that is, and I think that's broken. I also did mention earlier for real friends, pound puppies, all those kinds of things. Let me know if you had any of those growing up. We'll see you next time with more toy videos. Hopefully, some of them will work much better. And hope you guys like the grab bag style of just going over a range of toys with the same kind of theme. We have a couple ones coming up from Bugs Life and Toy Story, so stay tuned for more. Oh, finally he stays quiet. It took him long enough. Alright, here we are. Which one's better? Real deal or the... Oh, there he goes. Yeah. I told you he's not gonna like it.